All right, let's get started. Shift A, we're going to adding a plane this time, and I'm making sure this plane is aligned to the view. So now we're in the front view. I'm going to go to the edit mode, hitting tab key, and right click, do the subdivide. And this time, a number of cuts, I'm going to change this to 9. And interesting thing is going to happen once do the 9 cuts is going to generating 10 edges over here. If I'm come here to turn on the statistic, these are 10 edges. The reason I wanted to do this is because I'm going to adding another circle next to it, and I need to use 8 of these vertices over here. So watch what's gonna happen. Okay, go into the tab, edit mode, object mode, shift A. We are going to adding a circle. This time I can change the vertice to 16. To making sure the align is going to the view. All right, so again, hit S key to shrink it down and drag it here, Z down here. All right, so right now these two are completely two different mesh, and only way to adding them together is actually join them together, or you can actually adding the circle while you're in the edit mode when you're doing the editing with the plane. So this time I'm just going to show you how to do this. Select these two, holding shift and hit Control J to join them, and then go to the edit mode, hitting tab key. Now this is what it looks like. So I can still select this part and GY to kind of move up here. I want to know like how big this circle is going to touch. So eventually I want these two vertices overlap the same width. So hit S to shrink S to scale it up a bit. Then Z just drag it down up here. Okay, now I'm ready to delete these vertices up here because we're not going to use it. Hit X to delete the vertices. Next thing, I'm going to select all these edges. So watch the statistic. Right now we have total 16s because 8 of these vertices. So next thing we're going to do is to Control E to having the edge menu come out. We're going to bridge edge loops. So once we have that, it's automatically filled this way and also kind of close this face for me, which is really nice. The next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to select these two vertices and hit E and Z to drag it down here, and it's just barely close to the vertices that we want to really fill together. And then I can select all these 4 vertices, hit S, Z, and 0 to fly them out. Right now they're all in the same position or same locations along the Z axis. Next, I'm going to manually fill these face, hit F key to do that. F key. So now we have a perfectly transitioning from a square to a circle or to a curve by now. And then we can actually select these E and Z to extrude it out a tiny bit. And this is kind of the shape that we want to have later on for what we're trying to create. Next, we're going to decide to cut it off some of the shape or mesh in order to have the steps going on here for the shape we want to create. So what we can do here, we're going to hit 3 face selection mode, hitting the C key. So now I can just left click, just decided the part that we want to keep. All right, so we are just going to having this and kind of like to save some step by 2 squares together. So I'm going to do this and another 2. So this, and I'm going to hit the middle mouse button to deselect that and hit C one more time, so I can actually just go select that and hit middle mouse button. So this is pretty much the shape that I want to keep. So I just gonna need to delete the other part. So I'm gonna hit Control I to invert the selection. Now I hit X to delete the faces. Okay, so now this is the shape that we want to keep. One thing I want to pay attention, the origin is not in the center of the geometry. Also, this thing has moved away from the 3D cursor. I think this is kind of bothering me, so hit Shift S, you can do that. Snap selection to the cursor. So now I feel it's a little bit better. Then next, we can just actually adding the volume or the thickness going on here, because right now it's just a simple plane. Hit the edit mode, select everything, hit hit A to select everything. Then go to the side view. Now we're gonna hit E, Y, drag it out. Just adding some thickness going here. And then we can tap it out. Cool. So now basically if we're going to look at the geometries, I think everything is in quad, so everything looks just fine. But once we're adding a subsurface modifier, is going to ruin this thing. So we need to certainly do some bevel, and we're going to select the edges that we want to, making sure we keep the shape. And the easiest way is to go to the edge selection mode and select the sharp edges. So now Blender help us to define the sharp edges based on the number of degrees over here. We just need to double check is this the edges that we want to do. So according to what we're trying to accomplish, it's perfect job, right? So what we're going to do here, Control B to bevel and left click and adjusting the width. Usually I do 1.01 or 0.2, so that should be fine. And then the segment, 2 segments all the time, shape all the way to 1 because we want to maintain the sharp shape. And then change this to the arc. So this is how it works on the corner. This actually really easy to fix because this is a pole, so it's one vertices connect to too much edges, so we wouldn't want that. So we want to have this arc, and now we can fix this topology real quick. So cool, that looks just beautiful. All right, so now left click, and then it's our time to adding a subsurface modifier, Control 2 and 2 level of subsurface modifier. You can see that it's really beautiful. And if I right click, shade smooth, you can see that everything is beautiful and smooth and still remain that sharp look. But this just looks more photorealistic, okay? Because earlier this is not really a photorealistic, and we want definitely have that and better render. So go to the edit mode. It's our perfect time to fix topology. Although on the render side, on this, it looks totally fine. Simply because when you working with Ngong, it also on the flat surface, absolutely flat. It actually doesn't affect on the shading. But for the purpose of this type of a tutorial and practice, we want having all topology, all quad. So select these two, hit J to join them. And that's just very quick, easy to fix this topology. So we want to do it right. Okay, J, select that, J, and this kind of is also still called the pole. However, this pole is on the flat surface, so it's perfectly fine with the geometry that we're creating. And same thing on the other side. All right, so that looks just fine. For me, I feel like we need adding some support loops to getting this grid look, because you see this is more like a typical unit for our quad shape. So we're gonna adding a couple loops cut, and that looks fine. Same thing here, Control. Oh, it's already added, so I didn't see that because the subsurface modifier has been turned on. So this is a complete loop cut, so even better. So this thing is it. And if you go to the object mode, turn the thing on, you can certainly change the shape or the length of this mesh. You can actually adjusting this in here. And this, I would personally think this is a pretty cool shape that you can definitely creating a good scene with this for the photography or some product renders and creating that. So that for the rest of the imagination and design, that's all your work. Face selection mode, select that, and then select all by trade, and that's face by side. It means equal to 4, it'll be highlighted. So it seems like everything is being highlighted. So we are doing a pretty good job. All right, cool. This is everything I want to share for this short modeling practice, and hopefully you have better understanding of how to do this type of modeling and typology. If you enjoyed this short practice video in Blender, please make sure you hit like and subscribe, and also leave a comment or questions if you have any questions regarding this modeling. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next time. Bye.